And welcome back once again to the PCS Spring Split 2022. We have had some twists and turns, some ups and downs here as we've been opening week 6. I cannot wait to see what these final two games will bring. Oh my goodness, Clement, it is going to be a lot of fun. We've got Beyond Gaming taking on Sem9 up next, but before we do that, I do want to take a moment to thank our lovely sponsors. They are, of course, CTPC Bank and Caliber. Thank you for making the PCS possible. Now, this is a tale of two very different teams right now, Clement. Beyond Gaming have a lot to do in the playoffs ahead and a lot to prove still with the changes they've made to their squad here and the much tougher competition they seem to be facing this time around. For Sem9, it's all for pride, baby. They just want to not go 0-18.
It definitely is. And I would say for Sem9, this is probably the last easy day they get. I say quote-unquote easy because the remaining schedule actually gets even tougher from here as they face CFO and then DCG in the following days. So, Sem9, I'm rooting for you guys. I don't want to see a team go home with a big fat 0. I believe if there is one team that you could potentially do well against, I think Beyond Gaming is one of those teams, because Beyond Gaming themselves don't exactly run the strongest of early games. They do tend to be a little bit slower in heating up, and then they move into 1-3-1s with their assassins. So it does give Sem9 a little bit of cover for what is their biggest weakness, which is they just don't have much of a laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, right? They may have a little bit of breathing room. This may be the best opportunity. In a very weird way, it may be the best shot they've had. At the same time, Beyond Gaming can't really afford to drop one against what will surely be their easiest opponent. They had a very solid 3-0 week last week that included a win in the Battle of the Banks Part 2 to complete their 2-0 against CFO. But here's the thing, Clement. They had a really bad couple of weeks before that, so things are getting a little tough now as they look to close things out as they'll face PSG and MFT after this. But for the Sem9 side, crystallize this roster here, giving the newer players a little more experience, I think, makes some sense here. Shiramene, Arashi, Lazar, Klaex, and Filia yet to find a win in these jerseys. We'll see if that changes here today. I mean, what do they attack? What is the plan for this squad? It seems like they've tried so many things here, but we will be comparing the two junglers. And Arashi, of course, no stranger to this stage, having come from Berjaya Dragons last year, has not been able to have the same impact.
I feel like Arashi, in my opinion, is still their best player. He has a very difficult task ahead of him, and what we've seen is that he has to play a very low efficiency game to cover most of his lanes. That is kind of the principal problem you see with generally bottom of the table teams in all regions. It's just laning strength is not there. So if you can't build upon laning strength, the game becomes very weird to play, especially for the junglers. And that's why you see him at such a large experience deficit. A lot of the times he does have to try and go on these weird paths. And what I want to see out of Arashi is, I do want to see if he can play some of those more late game, farm heavy junglers. What we have seen from, funnily enough, Alpha Esports is, if your lanes aren't that strong, then maybe you just play something like a Karthus. You pick up all the farm, and at least you're a viable carry in the late game. So I want to see
that's true.
Do that.
Very possible. The ban's being thrown out here as we start things off. That's Zeri's the third one on the red side for Sem9. But some interesting ones. The early ban of the Zillion comes through, and then, of course, focusing on mid-jungle with the LeBlanc and the Diana. Instant quick pickup for the Jinx, and now we switch over to the Xayah. And Arashi will end up on an engaged jungler on the Xin Zhao. It's actually only his second time on this champion, this split, if you can believe it. But he has been splitting a lot of time with Caspiel, who has been much more of the Xin Zhao player.
So very standard stuff from Sem9. Strong early game coming into the foray. I do expect Beyond Gaming to pick just kind of these snowball champions and fight fire with fire when given the chance. Ari so far is still Minji's best champion. And outside of that, I do want to mention the Zillion. I want to say sorry to Shiramene. I thought this was a troll pick. I didn't really understand it. But after doing some homework, he's actually a Zillion top main. And he plays this in Korean Masters with over 60% win rate. So that is why it's getting a lot of bans. This is his one trick. And to be honest, we didn't really get to see much of it. It didn't really work out maybe the way he wanted it to. But in solo queue, this is kind of his thing.
Yeah. Well, I think Beyond Gaming are potentially right to consider the solo queue when facing up against the squad, because that is where some of the strength has laid. They will add themselves a couple of assassin type of champions, I should say. The Viego comes in for Husha, as well as Minji on the Ahri. Of course, Ahri, far and away his most played champion, looks very comfortable on this one. Has a pretty high win rate on it as well. Has been much more of the assassin type player. That's why he draws things like the Akali Respect Ban. On the Sem9 side, they are allowed to have the Lovers duo, so let's see if they pay for it here, as there's a couple of mid lane bans being thrown out at them. The Syndra, the Orianna off the table. Maybe Lazar is going to try to fight fire with fire here, and he does by locking in the Zoe for only the second time this split.
If you're going to go out in a blaze of glory. That's what Sem9 is drafting for. I love these snowbally comps. And to be honest, I feel like Beyond Gaming is not that comfortable fighting super aggressive comps. The way they like to play is actually pretty slow tempo, and then they scale up. You might be reading their comp a lot of their times as reset focused, but I think where Beyond Gaming shines is really in their flanking angles and not necessarily in their laning phases. So
right.
This is definitely something that could be exploited by Beyond Gaming, though. We have seen this composition so many times. Reset City with strong lanes all across the board.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a challenge to overcome, but if they can do it, and they're going to pack some solid rocks up top there for Shiramine on the Malphite. Hasn't gotten to play this champion himself, and looking at what Sem9 are going to try to do, they definitely have a lot of explosive potential. They honestly have a pretty decent team fight, I think, off the back of it, if they can pull off that Wombo combo, but they have to deny those resets to do it.
The scary thing is, I feel like Wako is so exposed in this composition. There's almost no cover for him. Nobody's going to be able to withstand shots coming in from Lazar or Shiromine. And the rest of the team, it doesn't have the clearest of identities. I feel like this is purely a sort of skirmish squad from Beyond Gaming. And if they ever group up, I expect them to just get completely blasted by Sem9, at least if they're on even footing.
Yeah, and it's weird to say given nameplates and the situations both teams find themselves in, but you're right. Like, Beyond Gaming have not had the greatest of team fighting coordination in this split. I think that is one thing that they have been lacking in this new iteration, and even in the old one to some extent they had some of those issues. And it does seem like a bit of decision making, a bit of shot calling maybe is missing there at times. And I look at this and I feel like it's a bit ARAM, but we've seen BYG pull off the ARAM before.
That's
maybe not ARAM,
true.
maybe 3 lanes of it anyways.
And to be honest, Beyond Gaming, they should have the confidence to just play strong lane and to win game against an opponent like Sem9, if I'm, being completely even-handed here. But I'm just saying, in those teamfight situations, I would hate to be a Jace or a Jinx when there is a Rakan and a Malphite heading towards you and there's no tanks on my team. So I feel like this is one of those comps where Reset City, you could see a very one-sided teamfights going both ways.
For sure. Well, I love to see an explosive game, and we'll see if we get that one. Electrocute on both sides at the mid lane. Fire with fire, indeed, or lightning with lightning, I should say. And look at this. Beyond trying a little bit of trickery level 1 by bringing Kino up to the top. Shiramine. He ain't taking the bait, though. He doesn't even know it's there. Well, maybe he does. Oh, look at that emote.
Look at Shiromine's runes. He's going for the get rich or die trying build.
My goodness. The rocks on this guy, huh?
Yeah, he definitely wants to one-shot delete the rest of the team. I'm not sure he really needs it, to be completely honest. And I do want to mention that we have seen people still go for the tank build, even when they take Arcane Comet. So it's definitely possible that, it's just laning phase rune. But I do want to see him go for the... look,
fun builds. You gotta love the Wrecking Ball. And I think, I kind of said it in jest, with the ARAM side for BYG, but an AP Malphite, that would be a whole nother story. Let's see how this one shakes out, though. I'm excited. I mean, Sem9, again, they got nothing to play for but pride at this point. And if they want to have some fun with it and try something unorthodox, maybe that's the way you catch Beyond Gaming off. And Beyond, the pressure's on them, right? Despite the fact that they're so much further ahead in the league, they can't really afford to drop games with the playoff race as close as it is.
Yeah, currently they still have 3 games on the docket, and they actually have one of the easier schedules left compared to the teams that they're trying to catch up to. They still play PSG and MFT, so they are expected to lock in at 12 wins, and that would still give them a pretty strong shot at second place. Now DCG has already dropped a game, so that's kind of
Yeah.
the angle that Beyond Gaming are aiming for. Coming back into this game, though, I expect Beyond Gaming to have a very strong early game. All three of these lanes should be pushing in onto their opponents, and indeed that's what we're seeing earlier on. And the big question is, how does Xin Zhao kind of alleviate that pressure, and how much can Husha get away with? Husha doesn't really want to run into Xin Zhao earlier on, but if he gets to farm up just without having to protect any of his lanes, then he could get very far ahead with a carry like Viego.
Yeah, that's the trouble a little bit here. Shiro just gets again and again just bopped here. Arashi going in for a level 3, but he's gonna run into that ward. Should clear it out. In fact, he may not gonna go for it. There was just enough time for Wako and Kino to get out of harm's way. Now Husha up to the top. I think we're setting up for a dive on this. Viego wants to get a snowball on early as he takes the hard path. That's going to be just enough to go to the skies for first blood.
Beautiful tanking coming in from Beyond Gaming right here. Husha just with the point-blank stun. Doesn't even need to flash that one, and Shiromine can't react whatsoever. They drop the tower aggro correctly, and finish off the kill. Great charm,
nice charm.
Point-blank, level 2.
Oh, flash into the stun. Minji, he's just going to line this one up, and there's a flash. Follow through, and they even feed the kill correctly over. Ooh, swings in top, swings in mid.
Yeah, absolutely huge play by Kino right there. I love the play in the bottom side. He actually fronts that the jungler is behind him. He sees the Xin Zhao, and then he walks towards the Xin Zhao, which actually makes, I believe, makes M9 drop a little bit of their guard into top side. Makes the gank a little bit easier for Husha coming in. And then another beautiful play into the mid lane. Good choreography by Minji. Point blank charm. And then he also follows up. After you land the staggering blows, you do extra damage to the target that was just stunned. So he flashes in to get those autos down and secures the kill.
Oh, yeah. So, lane dominance, name of the game right now. And now Klax almost about to step on those traps, but Philia does, dodges back in, not before the hook brings him back in. Husha is a little bit late to get much done. It is a little hard to gank a Xayah Rakan, to be fair. But they will walk out of this one. And as you said, it is all down on what Husha can get away with. So far, so good on a couple of lanes here. And Arashi just going to do his best to power farm up and try to get out of this one without too many kills. But I think we might see more.
Knockback.
Shiro's held his flash. There's the knockback. He's just trying to walk away. Gets the rock clap on, but he knows he's got nothing. He turns back around again. And Leon gets the solo kill.
Oh, that was beautiful from Liang. He holds onto the W to wait until the slow comes down from Shiromine, pops the W, gets max attack speed anyways, and just mows him down. Just beautiful play with the phase rush to get the knockback into the easy solo kill.
Liang is going to become a problem this game for Sem9.
Yep, he is.
Oh boy.
We did say this game was going to be one-sided one way or the other, and
that's true. No middle ground.
It does look like it's tilting one way rather quickly.
Yeah, all right. Well, Klax is pushing in on Wako right now, 1v1. That's not terrible, but of course the support's about to enter the fray. Yeah, looking at what Sem9 can try and do here, I mean, they really aren't going to be able to get much done on the top, but Arashi is here on Infernal Dragon. If they can maybe get this going, I mean, it's a bit dangerous of a proposition to try and solo that one out, but he's just going to walk away. Minji pushed very far forward here. Both mid laners on level 6. He's not going to try for it. And yeah, Beyond pretty happy with how things have shaken out so far. Just keeping the lane push going, keeping the pressure on. 2,000 gold the lead.
Just absolutely brutal from Husha. They're going to try and kill Shiromine before he hits level 6. Again, you look at the setup here. Wako already going for the call. It pretty much just means Beyond Gaming's consistently going to go top lane. Kino waiting for the Blade Caller. They'll probably use earlier on, and there's just no help here. Shiromine, can he actually clear the way for 6? That's the big question here.
Looking for it. Flashes, tries to bait a little bit here, and he doesn't quite have 6, but he's bought time for the team as they look to reset. Bought time for himself, again, I should say. That's going to be the stun up, and no, nothing doing. Husha doesn't even need a Heartbreaker to break Shiro's heart.
Yeah, that was beautiful by Beyond Gaming. They have too many wards on the top side, so they know that it's coming.
Here's
this
Rashi.
Is a 3v2 they have to survive, though, but no quickness.
Gonna be the root. No, they don't have the levels just yet. Trying to juggle the aggro. They do manage to take down Kino, and Arashi is gonna look to tank this after the fact. But Wako, he gets a return kill. Might get a second. KlayX is so low. He does, and he walks it out. Are you kidding me? Wako with the absolute godly outplay, and he might get a third here with the knockup. No. Oh wow.
A bit of a disaster in the bot lane. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Lazar doesn't have mana for portal jump. That was a bit of a weird situation, but he kind of was dead anyway. And this game just falling apart again. We'll take a look at the bottom lane. This was a very forced dive. They needed to get aggro onto Philia and then tank it off. I think Arashi does drop the aggro quite nicely, but it lands on KlayX, which is so unfortunate right there. Because it lands on KlayX, they don't have the finishing damage to take down Wako. It allows him to get excited and then walk out. Philia tries to finish off with the flash, but doesn't make it happen. And Shiromine, he's holding onto his ult. Can he get out?
Tries. Looked again. Nope. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this is looking a little rough. Sem9, you could tell they really needed to force that down bottom, or really wanted to, before Arashi was on 6. I think they could have just left, honestly, after getting Kino. But they're going to go for round 2 here.
Let's see if
just
they
Wako
get
this time.
A better aggro juggle this time around. They should be able to get Wako. It's a 4v1.
Yeah, I mean, no. Okay, good shutdown. That is a lot of gold into the pocket of Lazar. The problem is they kind of lose free Herald for it, and they can't get much else. Maybe Dragon?
They could definitely go for Dragon for sure. I think they're thinking about more gold right now, and this is probably the best that Sem9 could have gotten out of all of these trades. Top lane's just, he can't even go 1v1 at this point for Shiromine. He's 40 CS down, and I really want to see the gold graph, but I think he's about 2,000 gold behind at this point already.
That sounds about right. I don't venture to do math on broadcast. That's not one of my strong suits. It's been proven over many years, but I reckon you are correct, and it is a 3,000 gold advantage, so at the very least I can count, in favor of Beyond Gaming with the 8 kills to 3. However, dive successful. Lazard gets the bounty, and they do pick up an Infernal Dragon, the only one that'll be on the Rift this game, so they get something for their troubles. But yeah, Shiro, he's a very small rock boy right now. He's having a rough game.
He's a pebble at this point. Yeah, he's not really a boulder status just
yet.
And please don't face check
that. The Geodude, right? Oh. And hammers beat rocks, it turns out.
The emote comes out. Nicely done right there. I just gotta feel bad for this guy. He is gonna go for the tank build. I think this is a correct move. Honestly, his composition doesn't actually need more damage at this point. It just needs a chance to catch on to targets. Looks like Wako is pretty happy to be the sacrificial lamb this game. He's just gonna sit on his skull, probably get a Gale Force, and call it a day afterwards. The big question will be if they can get the shutdown on the Jason D's teamfights, and I think Sem9 are... Oh boy.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a counter engage here. It's a 3v2. They've actually deleted Kino already off the map and Husha, but here is the counter trap as the Recon comes in. Husha manages to take down Arashi.
Lazar,
he's going to assume his form off that one. Minji on the run right now, but he's able to stay nice and safe. Ducks, dips, dives, dodges, and charms right into the pickup. And another double kill coming through for Beyond's mid laner while it's all happening. Liang is free hitting topside. And the rich get richer, Clement.
Shiro just trying to get his ult off. He's walking across the map, but the fights are happening so fast, and I've got to say, it was a beautiful outplay from Minji. He dodges out on the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, 2 paddle stars. He just sticks to Lazar right in his face and kills him point blank. Beautiful stuff coming in from the Ahri. You can tell Ahri's still going to be a force, even on 12.5. Again, good start here by Sem9. They do get Kino right off the bat, but unfortunately for them, Shiro can't join the rest of this fight. He's caught in a very awkward position as the fight transfers over towards the ramp, and just watch Minji and his footsies. He gets behind the Zaya, pulls the orb towards the left side, point blank charm on Lazar. Lazar doesn't land a single ability on this Ahri before going down himself.
Yeah, you can definitely see the skills diff on that one. With that, a lot of assist gold, some kills as well. Husha picks himself up a shiny new Divine Sunderer. And yeah, I think you're right. Like Wako knows exactly what his job is in this game, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna use the rocket to get some damage out onto the enemy team when they group. I'll let Minji and Husha clean it up. Liang sits on side lanes, and hey, you know what? It's a thing that works for this team.
It definitely is, and you know, this is the strength of Beyond Gaming, is that they really can shift their game plan towards any of their 3 lanes. One of the rare teams that can actually do that. Minji looking for the ultimate. They do have Clay-X cut off. I would not.
That's charge on the traps, the burst. That's all they needed. Now they need to just reset on the aggro. Getting excited, Wako's going to be able to find 2 off of that one with a little help from the rest of his friends.
No.
He will go down, but Minji getting turned by the tower. And actually, Sem9 finds something out of a bad situation, getting 2 kills in revenge down bottom side.
Absolutely massive right there. Arashi with some beautiful outplays. He doesn't get the Wako kill necessarily. Wako somehow gets the execute to go through. So gold missed and a very angry emote popping for Arashi. But he gets the 3 Talon Strike before Minji can even flash. So gets the big shutdown on him. Once again, he already has the Gore Drinker. And in the meantime, Lazar also picks up a kill outside of screen. So we'll watch this again. This was a pretty failed trade by Beyond Gaming, if I have to call it out. Clay-X at this point, not really worth that much gold. They do aggro reset on Husha, but on the second time around, you see Wako just dying there, and a beautiful knock-up for the tower to land there onto Minji, secures a kill. It ends up being a 3-for-1 trade.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out how Arashi didn't get that kill, and I realized he literally just walked at Wako while he was in his ult and just never touched him.
Yep.
Because the tower killed him first. Okay, yeah, that's frustrating. I'll give
Wako
Arashi
played that pretty well for walking back into the tower. You know,
Yeah.
that small trick you can do to get the execute off faster.
Yeah, but beyond, this is another thing Jinx can do. Doesn't matter about the nerfs on your Q. You can still use your minigun to great success to shred down towers. So, well, I think we spoke too soon when we said Wako's job this game was, you know, complete the cold call to game. All of a sudden he's on the board with 2 more kills, and I feel like it's going to be a race to see who gets the resets this time around, and Leon wants to join it. He's already got 3 kills, and most of them solo against the likes of Shiramine. And
yeah,
with
Arashi on the solo mission once more, but I don't think he can take this solo.
Wait a minute. Oh, I mean, he would have. He would have. True. I think he would have, Clement. But,
no,
Shiro tries. He tried so hard. Oh, but he gets denied by the flash of Liang. He saw the opportunity for revenge. He saw the chance to get the moral victory. Oh, but Liang with the flash, and Philia limps away. Close calls all around.
I like how Arashi is just laughing at the situation. He knew he got the top laner. Even though the top laner, like you said, was, you know, bashing on his Shiro all day long, he knew he would have won that fight if it wasn't for the 3-for-1. And,
sweet
well,
700 gold.
Yeah, I don't know what much to say of this game so far. I'm just praying for one Wombo combo in Sem9. I feel like they could call it a day with their dignity intact.
I think if they could pull it off, it would look good, but they've been set so far behind here. Arashi playing his heart out. I think Sem9 have shown that they do have the power to counter-engage if Beyond get a little too feisty. But they're starting to snowball with these reset champions, and that is a worrying trend.
Yep, and we are seeing a push into the mid lane. Oh, but Sem9 can't even really set up a siege at this point because of how powerful Liang is. 2 items, double lethality already done. And on targets like Clay-X and Felix, he just needs to land 2 shock blasts and they could just die. So
yeah,
you can see Sem9 understand that that's probably not a great idea for them to be. I feel like Sem9 have to move into a strategy where they allow Beyond Gaming to get on objectives first, and then when they're grouped up, use their Wombo.
Well, Sem9 trying to move as a unit. The problem is they're being drawn all over the map here as Liang is free timing on the top side. You've got Husha hanging around Minji on bottom, and not a lot in the way of objectives to take across the map, but they are locking at Sem9 out of control of their own jungle.
Oh, 3v1?
Yeah, Liang. Oh, boy. He's
Leon's
sandwiched.
going to take the 3v1, though.
He's sandwiched, but he feels strong right now. He's got his hammer.
They don't go for it, really? They don't try to kill Leon?
Arashi goes in, but it's 1v1, and he's got a 2-level disadvantage. I don't think they were on the same page at all here, trying for a big quickness. It's just not happening. Meanwhile, Harold is going to be moving down the bottom. What is happening? Sem9 had a clear opening and just whiffed it.
Yeah, and the raid boss doesn't even go down. They don't commit to finishing the final chapter right there. So Beyond Gaming, they get 2 free towers in the bottom side.
Whew. Swing and a miss there, Clement. Sem9. I don't know what they were setting up for if they didn't want to take the play.
Yeah, like, if you are already sending 3 people there, you have to expect there's wards, and that just means you have to commit. There is no half measures when you are this far behind. It's a huge drop in efficiency, and I think they're going to try and right their wrongs here.
Okay, Liang stays a little long into Arashi. This time he's a low with a knockback and denies it again. Liang stays alive.
No flash, no worries. He has Phase Rush and Ghost Blade. Arashi knows he can't really chase that one. So, once again, Liang able to walk away with murder and some Krugs.
Oh boy. I haven't seen a Jace get away with this much shenanigans since Act 3 of Arcane. I'm just going to say it.
I'm one of those Jace supporters. I felt like Jace was actually a very humble leader. He had a lot of pressure. He did flip-flop quite a bit, but I don't know. He's like I think he's a very good leader. I would give him a solid 8.5.
You know what? Like, it's a pretty big mess in Piltover and Zani. He's certainly not the worst they could have had. I'll say that much. Now let's see. Maybe they can complete the mission here. Sem9 trying to bait a trap, but
they
so far behind. This is a 5v4.
No flash. There they go.
To knock up. Yes, they managed to get the big Malphite ultimate, but can they finish the fight? Shutdown. Raid boss has been taken out. Arashi on the front charge, but Minji has come in to join the fray. Counter engage here for Beyond Gaming, and they clean up. Not 1, not 2, but 3 kills, and Minji is not done yet. Orb of Deception looking to chase down Philia as he leaves Lazar for his team. Should be able to do it, but that is a very fast Messiah, and I think that's going to be it. But they crack the base again.
The minion wave is still a little bit late here, but they will have the tower going down. They can't finish the game right off of this push, though. I will say the death timers are way too low, and we do have to stay on the bright side. Those were some massive shutdowns going on the way of Sem9. We'll watch this again. Outside of vision, the trap closes in. Good protection by the Malphite. 950 gold shutdown going over. Arashi, that was just so close. He actually misses the W as Wako is able to sidestep there. Or else I think they would have been pretty close to the kill. Of course, Wako still having his flash there. Yeah. And unfortunately, they just don't have the damage to deal with Minji as he pops back up on the side.
I will say, though, all that aside, all the result, Shiramine can look at that 1 kill column and just say, you know what? All that bullying in the lane, but I got one back. He got it back, Clement, and he got 700 gold off of it.
Well,
oh no! Liang's right back onto it! Oh dear. Okay, never mind. He needs to get another kill again.
Well, if you ever wondered if those kills ever swung the equation, the answer is a solid no. We saw the gold graph that he was down 4,500 gold, so that's a mythic and a giant belt and some change for the top laner. Not a lot he can do at this point. I just feel like Sem9 probably tried to run that off cooldown again and again. What I like about Shiramine is he's not expending his ultimate, he's saving it for the Wombo, keeping that chance alive, and here it comes.
Speaking of combos right now, will they be able to do it here as Kino zoning out? The rocket completely whiffs, but it doesn't seem to matter here as Husha starts by taking down Arashi, and they just tag team it right in. Playax doing his damnedest, and Shiro's just too late to the fight. That's 2 more kills picked up by Wako, and the ace is clean, and the base is in sights.
Well, there is nothing saving Sem9 right now. If they have to break this curse, they have to do it against much tougher opponents going forward. They're still looking to get that first win on their season, but in the meantime, Beyond Gaming inch closer to getting that 2nd seed. They can't catch up to PSG, They actually can still catch up to PSG if PSG lose all of their games, but they're definitely eyeing for top 2 now.
Yep, it is very possible for Beyond to recapture the spot that we thought they might not be able to take again. Playoffs mean a whole lot, and the seeding is so close this time around. Unlike a lot of other splits, we just have some seriously stiff competition at the top half of the table. Beyond Gaming, they close this one out decisively. A few missteps, a few over pushes, but not enough punishment coming out from Sem9. Just didn't have it in them to do it. And I think that is one of those wins you can still learn some things from, as Beyond Gaming take a pretty big victory on the board here and move themselves closer, contesting for that top position. If I had to guess, Clement, I think we are going to be in for some tiebreakers this Sunday.
Oh, you bet. I would pencil it in already. I think there's at least 2 or 3 games that have to be played. Just looking at how congested our top 5 actually are in this split. Coming back into this game, I felt like there was some good laning performances, good ganks coming in from the bottom side. We saw Wako being forced onto the back foot here, but unfortunately, Beyond Gaming were just able to get so much more on the top than the bottom side was able to get for Sem9. We have to commend Wako for a great play in the bot lane where he outplayed a 1v3 for 2 extra kills. A little bit unfortunate on the tower aggro switching. If they switched onto Rakan, I think the game would have been a lot different. They would have had at least one solid lane to play through. Somehow the tower focused onto Clay X. He had to walk back out, and it was just kind of a start of the end.
Neither team's tower were friends to Sem9 that game. Unfortunately, Arashi getting completely denied by Wako as well. And it just was one of those games where things got out of hand fast, as is the case in a lot of Beyond games, but also a lot of Sem9 games. And unfortunately, the Malaysian reps will still be winless here. They could look for a miracle win. We have seen very bizarre game drops from both Deep Cross and CFO. It is possible, but yeah, at the end of the day, they've just not been able to get it together well enough. There are sparks. There is some organization to this team. They're just a little bit weaker on the individual level than just about everybody else, and I think that's the trouble, is they just don't seem to have the same skill level.
It definitely is the case, and I think the offseason will be a great chance for them to dig in and finally decide on who they want to run as their starting players. I feel like it's always healthier for a team if they have a stable rotation and know who they want to develop for the future. I don't think you're looking for current power. I definitely think you're looking for potential and for growth opportunities with this team heading towards the summer split, as unfortunately they don't have a chance for the postseason.
But looking at the results of this game, pretty decisive. A lot of damage dealt on that top side. Solo put out by the Jace. Liang just looking so dominant on this Jace. But, I mean, this is a guy who's kind of done nothing but damage dealing. I mean, you look at the champions that are in his repertoire. It's all Tryndamere, it's Jace, it's Gwen, it's Graves. That's pretty much it. We've seen so many top laners flex it around. But no, this guy certainly loves to sit on those side lanes and just pump out the DPS. Of course, Minji, another player who loves to do the same kind of thing, but it's all about assassinations, as Ahri looks very comfortable. And of course, Liang will win the MVP for just shredding health bars.
No surprises here. Great coordination with Husha in the top lane. A lot of times they were willing to go for quite extreme tower dives, going down to less than 100 HP on the second dive, especially there. But they juggle aggro really well. They played with the fact that Viego can drop aggro by using his passive, and they just snowball this lane into absolute oblivion right here. And I think Liang is currently the most important member on the side of Beyond Gaming. Their team really goes as he does. When they win, it's usually because he's smashing lane and getting split push. When he loses, when Beyond Gaming loses, it's usually because he's getting camped and he falls behind. So we will see other teams, especially the remaining matches of MFT going up against Taco. Can other teams kind of exploit that fact?
I think that is a really key thing, right? Because it does seem like it is very much easier said than done, but it is a clear path to victory for teams looking to upset Beyond. However, didn't happen today as they take the victory. We have one more on the docket, so we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll close it out with PSG versus Impunity.